And I think that was a problem for him, because not only was I better looking than him, not only was I smarter than him, not only did I date prettier girls than he did, which you can attest to, you know how that goes.
Yeah,
But it was evident he was never going to help me, so I decided to help myself. And then he shows up everywhere I've been. Once he hears I'm having any success, here comes Jimmy to try and ride the coattails. I put 39 stars into the WWE, made them millionaires. He took people that were already established, just like the Midnight Express. They were already big stars in Memphis, Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey. And then Dennis Condrey got sick of Cornette's ways and left him. You can ask him. He'll tell you the story. And Stan Lane had to come in, and then Stan Lane got fed up with Cornette and left him. And then Jimmy had to form the Heavenly Bodies, and then we all know where they went. They went to the WWE, and they were the ultimate failure. They didn't get the job done. So then Jimmy decided he'd manage Yokozuna. Well, he basically killed Yokozuna because of Jimmy's dietary habits. They all went out eating at these big restaurants. Yokozuna ballooned up to nearly 800 pounds and died, courtesy of Jimmy Cornette. So, and then that I hear about this date rape thing. Well, I watched him kill the careers of so many other wrestlers, and then to try this on a poor little innocent 12-year-old girl. Yeah, I'm going to stick my nose in it. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to do what I can to help.
Okay.
I'm the established star around here now. I'm the elevator. I'm the guy that makes people millionaires, not Jimmy, who sucks the blood, life, and cash out of anything that he's ever put his mitts into. So, yeah, is there some jealousy? He's jealous over me.
Okay.
It doesn't sound like it ought to be that way, because he's the one with the worldwide fame, and I just regional and internet fame. But still, I've come an awful long way in the last few years, and my segment on the radio show tells you that people want to hear what I got to say. That's why I'm the #1 rated segment on Who's Slamming Who, and that's why, without a doubt, once the people get to hear me on your radio show, I'll be the #1 rated segment on your show too, and you'll be begging me to hang around just to be a part of it.
Okay, well, tell me this: did Cornette bring up all the scams that he's accusing you of? The free hotel rooms, the free food?
Isn't that sad? Isn't that sad? Because when I thought Jimmy was going to be of some help to me and was going to help get me into the wrestling business like he told me he would do, and he and I were going to be the biggest names in professional wrestling and run the wrestling world, no, it didn't go down that way. He left me out in the cold. 8 years he shunned me. 8 years he tried to keep me out of the wrestling business, burying me to Vince McMahon, burying me to Eric Bischoff, burying me to Jerry Jarrett, who I just got off the phone with, and we had some very private words with each other that I may divulge at a later time, but I think Jerry Jarrett may be starting to see the error of his ways.
Oh, yeah?
And I think he might understand that I was the true talent between Jim Cornette and myself. I think he might be starting to realize that. And now that this date rape thing has come up, and I've got the testimony from that little girl, Jerry Jarrett has heard that commentary. Maybe not all your listeners have. I'm begging each and every listener out there that's listening to my voice today, go to Who's Slamming Who, click Part 2. You don't have to listen to Part 1 if you don't want to. Part 1 is where Leapin' Lanny Poffo learns what a piece of crap asshole Jimmy Cornette is, and says so on his own radio segment. You don't even have to listen to that part, because that's about 18 minutes. Go to the 19-minute testimonial from that poor little girl, Selma, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the poor thing that was violated, pawed upon by Jim Cornette, a man that's probably in his 50s, near 60 years of age, a balding head, 4 eyes, has to take pills in order to be able to perform in the sack at night. That's the type of guy Jimmy is.
I've got a clip.
That's the type of guy that I'm not. I help little girls. I don't violate them.
Well, I've got a teaser clip of that, so let me go ahead and play that, and then we'll finish that up, what you got to say for yourself there. Okay. Here is the Part 2 of the Who's Slamming Who.
All right, Callie Couric, let it fly.
Here we go.
My mom's here driving, and I have this scrapbook on my lap, and Jim Cornette was looking at the scrapbook, and he started sliding his hand under the scrapbook, and started feeling on my leg, and I kind of looked at him like, what are you doing? And he stopped, and then he went over to Irma, and he started reaching under the...
And he did the same thing to her, too, huh?
Right, yeah.
Kind of strange when someone you idolize starts putting their hands on you, isn't it?
Yeah, and I was confused because I was only 12 then, and I didn't really understand what Jim Cornette was trying to do.
That poor little thing.
Okay, Kenny.
Thing.
I mean, isn't it possible that he was just being compassionate and rubbing her knee?
Is it possible that he was compassionate? Callie, you and I have been out on a date or two. I'm not going to hide anything from anybody. If I'm putting my hand on your leg, is it that I'm being compassionate, or is it that the king might be feeling a touch on the frisky side?
Okay,
compassionate. But the fortunate thing is, Callie, you and I are at least somewhere near the same age.
Yeah, but Jimmy
was 40 years older than this little girl. You don't go around pawing 12-year-old girls. Compassionate. Come on, Ali. You're killing me here.
You actually bitch slapped me in the car with Idol in the back seat. So was that compassionate? I mean, you can go both ways. He was just rubbing her knee.
I thought we covered what happened in the car that night. You were continuing to talk, and I didn't want to hear what you had to say. And I think my right hand out of what would you call it?
How many people?
Out of habit, tried to shut your mouth. Like I would do today if I could reach to the phone and get my hands on you. I tried to shut your mouth, and when the car went one way, my hand went another. It accidentally hit you in the mouth.
Yeah, well,
that was not on purpose. I didn't aim to do that. Believe me, I'm a big, powerful man. If I wanted to hit you in the mouth, you wouldn't be talking today.
Oh, I took it like a big girl.
There you go, Katie Couric and me. That was never supposed to ever come up about me hitting you in the mouth that night.
Well, how many people?
Now you're making your listeners think I'm some violator, some woman beater, and I'm trying to expose Jimmy Cornette for what he is, and now I'm the bad guy.
Well, I had to throw that in there.
People, if I wanted Callie not to speak anymore, she wouldn't be talking right now, believe me. But I don't beat women up. That's what Jimmy Cornette does.
Okay.
And he's the one that violates little underage girls, not me. I get accused of it because I try to help so many young girls, but that's okay. I'm a big man. I can take the heat. I'll help all the young little teenage girls out there. That's fine. They can make their accusations. I like helping the pretty little young teenage girls.
See, listen, that just doesn't sound right.
I just wish I'd have met you when you were 12, Callie. You'd be a better person if you'd known me then.
Okay, well, that brings up another question.
Maybe 13. Wearing those little outfits you used to wear. That's enough of that.
How do you know that Cornette didn't know how young this girl was? Maybe he thought she was older. Maybe he thought the mom.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. Do you think if I got caught with some important, because believe me, I get approached by young girls at every television show that I do, and they're all wanting to go out and have dinner with me. They all want to go out and be seen with a king. And the first thing I do is I make them show me an ID and present their age. And
I don't remember you doing that to me.
You think if I go before the judge and say, well, Your Honor, she said she was 18, that don't fly. You got to go by what they say. You got to have documented proof, just like I do. You got to protect yourself.
There's fake IDs,
I'm a famous guy around here. I can't be caught out with underage girls.
Well, I'm just saying, maybe. Okay, well, to answer this, how did the mother not know what was going on?
The mother was driving the car, driving down the road. It was dark in the back seat. You heard the little girl out of her own mouth. Jimmy put his hand under my scrapbook. If you hear the story out of these girls, they had a big scrapbook. Jimmy elected to ride in the back seat with the two 12-year-olds, maybe 13 at that time. There was an available seat in the front seat. Jimmy didn't want to be in it. So I would have known right up front that what Jimmy was up to. I know him. I know what he's capable of and what he can do and what he's done to young girls in the past.
Okay, so maybe the mother should have done something.
So no, she couldn't see under that book what was going on. And the girls didn't want to say, hey, the world-famous Jimmy Cornette's back here putting his hand under my skirt. Good Lord. I mean, these girls, how do you approach something like that?
Yeah.
Well, they kept their mouths shut, and now that they've come forward, nobody wants to believe them except the king.
Now, I'm not saying that I don't believe this girl, because she gives a very, very good story.
Damn right she does.
Very believable. But I mean,
if you don't believe me or Callie, just go listen for yourselves.
That's right. Go to
Ain't none of you so busy you ain't got 18 minutes to hear this little girl's story. If you give her anything, give her 18 minutes. Vacuum your floors, clean your kitchen, do something while you do it. But let it play for the 18 minutes and hear this at Who's Slamming Who. You got to hear this.
That's right.